Ways of seeing show reports. Show 1. Dress rehearsal. How did we all think that went?
I found that there was we had loads of adrenaline. I think we were so determined to kind of get it right. So we just put everything into it, even if we didn't necessarily think that it was good enough, or if it wasn't polished enough, we just went for it, I think.
And I feel that the directors set it up in a good way. It made everybody think that be supportive of one another, which I think personally made me feel comfortable doing it, because I knew that even if we fucked up, it was a dress rehearsal and they're there to support us.
Yeah.
And also,
I think it went pretty well. Again, like Levi said, adrenaline and stuff like that.
And also, it's the first time we had an audience watching our work, and I don't think that's the first. For me, knowing that no one had seen it, it was a bit different, because I was thinking I don't know if it's good. You think them things, and
but
then,
we could feed off of it.
Yeah, and then that was.
I think, and when the companies, when you see them and you know them and stuff like that, and they start asking what do UH&Ds actually do and stuff like that. It made me more nervous and more determined to put out a good show, because if we just went out there and didn't put effort into it and stuff like that, that would reflect what we actually do. Do you know what I mean? But because we put all this energy and hard work into it and stuff like that, I felt like for the first show we had to do
Prove
it.
ourselves.
Yeah,
And I know, with other shows, we've often said that the missing element is an audience.
Yeah.
And we'd had people look at sections and stuff, with Carly looking at little bits.
Yeah.
Gav coming in, and when Carly came up and said she's proud of us, and Gav was
nice.
it was really good. And Laura.
Yeah, that was nice, because we've never really worked with Laura. For Laura to come in personally and say that, it was.
Yeah, I think though, most of the the other companies, when they came over and was oh, well done your performance and stuff, they knew that we didn't have a director on it.
Yeah.
And I think for them,
so right.
that proves that we are a good company, and that it looks more impressive to them, and I think we've inspired them more.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think
the process that we went through a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
But when we came to it, we all came together and we just pulled it off.
Right at the beginning, when we were I felt that we became more of a company right before the first show, when we were doing all the and Tightrope on 3. I felt that really set us up, and the adrenaline and stuff. And I think it was a really good idea to do the preset, because I think that gave us more energy and more
focused.
Yeah, and I think that we were really committed as a company to do it.
We didn't have to see anyone else and go, look at that standard, and us feeling a bit unconfident with everything.
Inferior.
Yeah, and I'd say there was a lot of pressure on us to really put it out the bag. But I feel like...
But we did.
We did.
I feel like we did, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that the adrenaline rush worked for the physical section, because we all went for it, and I didn't feel it mattered so much if it was a bit of a mess. And I know some things went a bit wrong, but I think because of the commitment we had in the first show, that it paid off. But I think the shadows were slightly, not disastrous, but a little bit iffy. I wasn't so happy with how the shadows went in the first performance, because I think it was the first time we run it properly.
I don't think
I'd blame it on the techies
as well.
I'd blame it on the technicians for the not blame it on them, but what, in my opinion, what went wrong was the lighting and the cues for the music and the shadows and stuff like that.
No, but Harry's talking about the preciseness of our moves.
Yeah.
It's a bit...
No, but I agree that the lighting...
There was only literally 2 things that went wrong, and only one of them was small.
One was the blackout.
And one was
No, I'm on about with us, and one was just with the church, and there was a little gap in the bottom, but it actually made it look more real, so it looked like a little door, and it gave the depth, made it look.
That's good.
I think the shadows, because we weren't. I don't think for the first show personally, I wasn't very confident, and I thought I really hope it goes well, because behind the screen with the shadows we could go now, go now. But when it came to the physical section, I think that was the thing that was our downfall in the first show, because
Definitely.
even though we were trying to be committed to it, personally, I wasn't feeling, I wasn't in the zone
Yeah,
for the physical
no, I
bit,
agree.
so I thought, oh shit, I've fucked that bit up.
It felt like on the physical section we was all in our own world, and we wasn't together as a company. It was like, right, just think about what I've got to do, and as long as I get it right, that's all that
But I
matters.
do think for the blackout at the end of the first one, like I do think that blackout is important. Even though like before we thought that like we could do like that spin in and then get into position, but when you actually like think about it, the next image they're gonna see after the blackout is gonna be like they see the old people go back and disappear, and the next minute you see
and that's the way that it will be rehearsed.
But then when that didn't happen, I feel that took off the effect of what the audience needed to see, because like that's more like shocking than if like we just got into the going from the old people into the gravestones.
Yeah, because it's something you don't expect. Quickly comparing it to the last show we done, I heard from the audience go, because it was more of a surprise. You wasn't expecting that to happen.
was nice.
But also, I think from our adrenaline and the excitement, I think there was already an excitement set around the Miskin from the video that we posted up on their blog, because some of us saw some of the actors, and they was like, oh, we saw your video, it looks really good, I love the shadow puppetry,
That was
etc,
definitely
etc.
a good way of generating an audience.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
And David,
because we never got to do our flash mob in the end.
Yeah.
No,
But
but
either way,
yeah,
we
better
still
than
I think a flash mob they would have just been like, what? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like it's
And I
something
don't think it
different.
really would have showed, like, if we just did a physical section, I don't know, it wouldn't have completely showed them what we were.
And people like to see how you get to that
They wouldn't
place.
have been excited.
People like to see the journey.
And it sort of gives,
And the
like,
ups and
especially in
downs
that video, it sort of shows them how the dog was made, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that because of all the adrenaline and everything, it taught us to respond more to each other in the moment.
Yeah.
Because obviously we didn't know how it was going to happen, and we were doing the ending literally like before we were going on, and I think that actually made us subconsciously more aware of everyone, because we were like, right, we need to focus what we're doing, we need to know, you know, we need to look at Levi, we need to take cues from each other to actually understand it, because otherwise I think if we were too confident, it would have just been like, oh, okay, we're just doing the moves for the sake of it.
Yeah, I thought it was good that we felt. It felt spontaneous and we felt on edge.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like everyone, I was so nervous, and it because you can't blag it in the shadows. You can't. If you make a mistake, then I think it would have spoiled the whole thing. I know there was little things, but it wasn't major catastrophes.
I think at the end, like, people were in their own kind of world. Like, you know, the bit where we rip the cloths off of me. Like, everyone just seemed to just respond naturally, like what they would. I don't know. I don't know how to word it, but it was just very. We were just responding to what we had to do.
It wasn't like it was choreographed.
No.
It didn't feel choreographed.
Like, it felt like,
Yeah.
So moving on to the first show, technically show 2.
Yeah. That went. I think for me that was my favourite one.
Yeah.
Because even the shadows were more precise, and I think the lighting worked better. It just really annoyed me that literally Levi was there for like ages because the music, and I was just like, for me, I know I'm not an audience member, but I thought, because I know it should be happening, I was like, it needs to like carry on.
Yeah.
But I think the physical section, like, I felt we were all as a company more in sync, and personally I felt it affected like my facial expressions and stuff more, and I felt like more, not in character because we didn't really have a character to say, but more in the force.
And also, we tried to we tried to use sound effects in that one.
Yeah.
I think it was a good idea, but at the time I think it put me off a bit in my brain, because I was like, I know.
I think we all wanted to use like vocals at one point, especially after watching Carly's group.
Yeah.
I think we thought, oh, that sounds really good, and we really wanted to, because we had ideas of putting noise in it, but where we're so focused on getting it done and like making sure that it's right, I think we kind of used the wrong effect.
I think it
But
was
the wrong sound was
Definitely
started
the wrong sound.
But I think
for the pulsing part.
because it was the wrong sound, we didn't fully commit to it. But if we'd had something, I mean, Carly's group worked because they'd probably rehearsed with using vocals, because we kind of forgot about that and didn't focus so much. It didn't really work because we didn't know. I just think it sounded a bit odd, like we hadn't used vocals throughout the whole piece, and then suddenly we're going.
Yeah, it wasn't appropriate to what we was doing until we it just sounded like a train pulling in at a station.
It's gone, Colin, you haven't spoken.
So like we were trying to fit it in with the music, but like it didn't really suit it.
I think we just pull it. Oh, I think we just put the music to the actual physical piece, and I don't think like it was right. I think it should have just come naturally instead of just planning to put a sound somewhere.
Yeah, I do feel like the second run was like a huge improvement from the first one.
Oh,
I felt like we were
we could enjoy it a lot.
That shadow of a doubt.
Oh, yeah, the shadows actually went perfectly. The timing was exactly right, which I was really happy with.
I really enjoyed the shadows that time around because I felt more confident and I felt like I was focusing on physical clarity and stuff more.
I feel like we was more in sync with each other as well.
Yeah.
I think we knew our aim and goal and purpose.
Yeah. And we sorted out.
We knew what we wanted to get to.
And we knew from show 1 what we needed to improve for show 2.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I think we sorted that out.
I felt we had more of a connection to the story because I feel the first one we were just trying to get the piece out.
Yeah.
But because we'd had that run and that first performance, I think we'd all kind of thought, oh, actually, we're quite enjoying these. Like, as a company, we're like, oh, we've only got 2 more to go.
Yeah.
And I think with that, because we enjoyed it and we told the story better, you heard the audience when especially when the dog kind of nodded to say, yeah, marry her. You heard the audience actually vocally respond to us, and I think that was a really nice.
Yeah, because we did show that through the first one.
Yeah.
It was a nice gesture from the audience.
It was indeed.
Very nice.
Should we move on to show 3? Or have we got
Show 3.
I think this was our toughest audience, and we found that years before, like with the musicians.
Yeah.
But
they responded really well.
They were really good responders.
Like, I know when we got to the physical section, but they were the only audience that we got an applause for the shadow and the physical section.
Yeah.
But do you think it's because they thought it finished at the
That's fine. That's fine. We'll accept the
I don't think they did though.
Well, the other way, what
Because
did
the
you say?
light took ages to
Yeah,
get
I
out,
still
and they
think
thought it'd finished.
Maybe the techies were waiting for the applause to stop.
Yeah, but it was that long anyway.
That
But I
meant-
thought the response was good because when we were talking about lights before and that they went slightly wrong on the cues, I think for the tombstones, when it went black and then the tombstones came up, I think they were more shocked by it.
Yeah.
And I think that then you heard them have a more of a vocal response of like, oh no, I didn't want them to die.
The lighting went right, I think, on the 3rd time
Yeah.
for the tombstones.
On that, Julia, I think we actually underestimated how heart-wrenching the story actually is.
Yeah.
Because I think when I started to get feedback from the audience, it kind of then clocked in my brain what a
Going off that,
hard story
I
is.
didn't realise, like, even me turning towards the dog, how much detail that was. Like, I didn't think, but hearing the audience react was amazing.
I think the last one was the most we took on that note about never let the audience know what's coming next, because they clapped after the first one. They completely didn't expect that second section.
Yeah.
And the vocal reaction we had from them, I think it was the most spontaneous.
And they even had vocals in the physical when we like turned to them and they were like, oh.
Yeah.
And then because we were all like demon faced and stuff with the red lights, and I think the lights really helped.
I like the way I think the way we used the lighting though. I think that did respond to the audience. Even with Carly saying like I don't usually look at the lighting, but when she was looking, she thought it was like a good choice and stuff like that. But I do think that the audience did respond to that, because I think if we lit the whole stage red and then turned but where we isolated the stage and we all kind of turned it kind of I think it jumped out at them more.
Because at times I was thinking, I wonder, like being in it, if I was watching from the outside, I would have been thinking, oh, I bet things are going to come out of that black.
Yeah.
Because we'd already come out of the darkness into the middle, and I think it added a more eerie.
But the only thing that really annoyed me about all of the performances is that blackout that we had to do 8 lots of the first walk. And then the blackout, and then as soon as we ran to our other places, it was still blacked out, and then the first do.
I don't know. I think it works still.
No, but the whole point of that we did it of surprising our audience, we still did 8 of those, and I think the point that we did it was to surprise our audience, and I feel that we did surprise our audience in the end, but it was still that 8 counts.
No, we done 7. We done 7 because on the last one, on the 8, that's when it went off. because but then not, but we was only meant to do like 6 of them and then run, and then there's a beat when we was in darkness, and then we come into the last 8. So it was meant to go off at the 6th, but it went off at the 7th. Then by the time we got there, it went into the other beat.
I think we should. Sorry. I think we should have been lighter on our feet in that bit as well, because
Yeah.
I think that was a big part of ruining the surprise.
I think we just thought, shit, we got to get to our place before the light comes on, and we were standing there for like another 2 seconds before it actually did come on.
But the thing is, it did end up, like Aaron said, it did work and stuff like that, but when you text something and you need it at that time, you did it for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think, it worked, but it worked because we just went with it.
Yeah.
It didn't work because they made it work. Like we adapted to it.
Yeah.
But
that's how it's got to go. Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah. Also, in
but it
this
doesn't mean
last
it
show,
should be like that.
when we was all surrounding Levi and we was going to do the last final move, I missed the bit of the shirt that I was
So
supposed
did
to
I.
pick up, because obviously it wasn't there, and that for me did kind of
fuck it up.
Yeah,
It
it was
annoying,
annoying.
yeah,
but
for
I
you and the
didn't
person.
that tension though.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter
Yeah.
because they still see all
Yeah.
these actors, all these characters ripping into this person.
Yeah.
And that's what we were showing. And then, like, obviously, pulling all of them off. It wouldn't matter if you had one, as long as they were there. Like, people had them, and it showed what happened. Do you know what I mean? I think that, and you kept the intentions, like Sam said. That's all it needs to represent.
I think it was a strong way to end the show.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Oh, 100%. Brilliant.
I think comparing it to like the other Without Words or Ways of Seeing now that we've done and seen, I think this year was probably the best in terms of freedom as well.
It was more diverse.
Like, I know going back to mine in first year, we just had one birdie light on the floor shining on us, with some guys sitting there waiting to turn it off and then on. Like, I think being able to use the main space and that sheet and have that proper feel like it's an actual performance.
Yeah, it gets more.
I think this process wasn't so. I mean, I think before, like not in our first Without Words, but the last year's one, I think we kind of thought, oh, it's just a little performance, it doesn't really count. But I think this year, everyone really upped their game and put more into it because it was treated as a proper show, and I think that really worked.
And in the previous years, it's all just been physical theatre. And I feel this year it's opened the boundary because we did shadow, and then like every performance was slightly different, and they included something else. Like Carly's was more like acting, but a story, and then like Gavin and Laura's were just more like the physical theatre. And I felt like it was more diverse for the techniques that we used and devised and assessed in our performance.
But
I'd agree.
No, I was just going to say, I think it could have even been open to an audience in the evening, because I think there was that much diversity in it that it is good enough for a show.
Definitely.
David, sorry, Daniel, just one quick point. David said he would pay to see our show.
Oh, that's nice. No, I was just going to say, I think it was actually a lot harder for us this year because I underestimated, being a smaller company and having to fill that space. Whereas in first year, obviously, you have your big company and it's easier to, not worry too much. But this time, I really felt like everyone had to be 100% committed, otherwise that was it. And I think that was a really good challenge for us all to take on, and I was glad that we did it.
Me too. Oh, I was going to say, do you want to just go around and say which was your favourite performance and why, briefly?
Wow,
because this is our show reports. Right. Mine was the last one because I think it was the most truthful and the most magical.
Mine was Claire's because I think...
No, out of our performances. This is our show. These are our show reports, remember?
Mine was definitely the last one because I felt like there was more at stake, and I felt that we were all much more committed.
Mine was the second one because I feel we only just realised our true connection to the story, and I think that came through in our performance.
Mine would have to be the second show also, because I just feel like as a company, that was the one where I feel like we really worked together, and I was really excited, and I just really enjoyed it.
Mine was the third one because I feel everything just went a lot better than it had in the previous shows, and it felt good to be in as well.
I think show 2 because it just had a really good feel about it, and I felt that we were more confident with it after show 1, and I think we brought something new to it, and I personally just felt a lot more in it than the other shows.
have to agree and go with show 2. I just think that we got past those little niggly bits that we hadn't picked up in the first show, and we just came together on that one. Cheers.
I would say the last show, just because I think from experience in the first 2, we knew exactly what we needed to do. We could enjoy it a lot more. We could, in some way, experiment with it a lot more. But I would say I think the first show, just the adrenaline from the first show, I think that does kind of outdo the third, just because of that feeling that we had, like there was such a rush. So yeah, but I would say the third one.
I'd say the third one also. I think
What would you say?
the third show, because I don't know. It's just like after doing the two shows.
Connor, do you want to?
I'd say the third show because it was our last one and there was a lot riding on it, and obviously through the last 2 shows where there was like the little bits that we've been working on, and it was like going back to what Sam said, like the little bits that we've worked on, we corrected them, and I thought that was our strongest one.
Lewis?
Errol?
Yeah, just third show, just because it was fun, and it was our, I think the way we did it all.
I think the third show, because I think we sorted out the technical side to it and stuff like that. Obviously there was still that thing that went wrong with the steps in the physical section. But yeah, I just think the feel of the company, like it wasn't a personal thing like, oh, am I going to do this right? It was like, are we going to do this right? Are we going to make it good? And I enjoyed the response we got from the crowd.
Thank you.
Yeah.